I want to talk Matt Rhule because we've kind of been been able to go in the kitchen now a little bit and see a little bit more Matt Rhule behind the stove
in the kitchen
and see him in action. And immediately we're waiting in the holding tank, the reporter holding tank, the lobby there on the north lobby. And I observed this immediately. Every player, when they came down the stairs, they like checked in like they were signing into something. And then they did a mouthpiece check. And then they had to turn around to Jay Terry and, make sure that their back pad was properly covered on their uniform and they were geared up with their socks and everything properly. And, what's the big, that is, I've never seen anybody do that before.
Not here. I don't know that I've seen that. And that's good of you to see that. I didn't even see him doing that. It's interesting.
And Jay Terry was like, mouthpiece. And like the guy had it like, I mean, that's a direct order. He's not just doing that. Like he is told you need to check every guy for a mouthpiece.
Excellent.
And you sign them in, make sure they're here.
I like it from the standpoint of I've always, I have high regard for this program, Sean. I really do. I mean, I've covered it for almost 30 years. And I always, what I appreciate about Rhule that I didn't necessarily appreciate about Frost as the time went on. Rhule, I think, really respects the magnitude of the program. Like he talked about how he became sort of, maybe emotional is a little too strong, but just seeing that on the helmet. He said, like on a personal note, I was out there and just seeing those iconic helmets. You know what? This program does mean something to him from that standpoint. And I've always been a little protective of it. If I were an AD, I'd want a coach to understand. Now, this is a big time operation and it needs to be treated as such. Bill Callahan, I thought, did that really well. Big time operation. Treat it like that. And I think Rhule is doing a great job of that so far.
Well, here's just a couple nuggets. Like Nathaniel Frazier from Modern Day, he said to me, he's like, man, when I made my tweet that I was coming to Nebraska, I had never had a tweet that even came close to the engagement of that tweet.
Yeah, well, the fan base is the fan base.
He said it had over 100,000 views. And another one of the guys said is crazy. Like even driving by the McDonald's, they had Husker logos and stickers on the window at McDonald's here. And, for a California guy, that's like, whoa. I mean, because
wait till they get immersed in it. I mean, they'll understand it to a point. Now you can't come in for 1 weekend and fully understand it, but you get an idea of it. And that's the thing why that spring game becomes such a valuable recruiting tool, because those kids will go to a spring game practice and they'll see an atmosphere that's better than many fall atmospheres at even Big Ten teams. I mean, Nebraska's spring game atmosphere is much better than some of the Big Ten atmospheres that we go to. Illinois,
Northwestern,
Purdue, a lot of times,
even Minnesota,
to a certain extent,
Minnesota's hit and miss. Yeah. But like Nathaniel Frazier even is like, because when I was researching about coming out to Nebraska, I couldn't believe the sellout streak. Like he goes, they've sold out every game like since 1962.
Oh, the fans here are critical.
And Brandon Baker says, he goes, what was the record again last year?
Right.
Exactly. And I said it was 4-8. And he said, and they sold out every game still.
Right.
I'm like, yeah,
that's fascinating.
Like, I think, a lot of people don't. So we live in it every day. We don't appreciate like the magnitude of that streak.
I do.
And there
don't
are
lump me into that. I
younger colleagues of ours in the media that poo-poo it. They want to get rid of it. And I don't understand that.
Don't get me started.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they call it a fake streak. And it's not a fake streak.
No, not really. I mean,
they've been creative to save it along, but it's still remarkable.
Oh my God, is it remarkable? And it is critical. And that's why Matt Rhule at the beginning of when he addressed us after winter conditioning, had that press conference, the first thing he did was thank the fans. You can't, and Trev Alberts does a great job of always acknowledging the importance of the fans. We got to take care of the fans. The fans are critical part of the discussion. There's a lot of kids that you just don't even have a prayer of getting if you don't have that level of interest here.
Well, it's just remarkable. Like I think about it. I once did an interview with a news publication in India. And no joke, a writer contacted me because they were fascinated about the sellout streak. And they're like, how is a state with this population fill a stadium like this for that many years? Like,
It's an incredible love
it's a
affair.
phenomenon.
Yeah, it's part of our fabric is what it is, and the state's fabric. And Rhule, back to Rhule, embraces it. He doesn't stiff arm it like some. I mean, let's face it. There's a few coaches we've had here that didn't fully embrace it, and I would say he fully embraced
The fan power is the biggest asset of this program.
It
period,
is.
Period.
100%.
Without the fans, what is Nebraska right now?
It's Purdue.
It's bad.
Yeah. Well, not that Purdue's bad. I mean, they've become a pretty good football program, but you're right. I mean, it's not even it's a shadow of what it is.